Japan has the second longest life expectancy in the world, and the average Japanese person can expect to live 84.5 years. The world's oldest living person is Japan's Kane Tanaka, who's 117 years old. And the world's oldest verified man was Japan's Jiroemon Kimura, who lived to be 116 years old. And the thing about the Japanese is, they don't just live a long time, they tend to stay healthy well into old age. My name is Chris Rothorn. I lived in Kyoto, Japan for 20 years, and I still spend a lot of my time there. While I was in Japan, I wrote several guidebooks for Lonely Planet, including Japan guides and Kyoto guides. The entire time I was in Japan, I was fascinated by the question of why Japanese people live such long and healthy lives. After I learned how to read Japanese, I started noticing a list of Japanese health principles written in all kinds of places. On teacups, on posters, on curtains, even on handkerchiefs. I did some research and found out that this list is called the Kenko Jukkun. It's written with two sets of characters, Kenko for health and Jukkun for 10 principles. These 10 principles encapsulate Japanese folk wisdom regarding health and wellness. They're commonly attributed to an 18th century samurai poet by the name of Yokoi Yayu, but it seems more likely that they were written by an anonymous Japanese author sometime last century. The Kenko Jukkun is a pleasantly undogmatic list of health and wellness principles written in the form of couplets. Less this, more that. Let's take a look at the 10 of them one by one. The Japanese food that most people are familiar with doesn't contain much in the way of vegetables. Think about sushi, ramen, sukiyaki, not a lot of vegetables. But the traditional Japanese diet, particularly home cooking, contains a lot of vegetables. Given the overwhelming scientific consensus on the benefits of a diet rich in vegetables, this step is a no-brainer. The Japanese diet contains a fair amount of vinegar, which is used to make sushi rice, sauces, and dressings. We all know that salt is linked to high blood pressure, but few of us are aware that vinegar reduces glycemic spikes after meals and may even support weight loss. A proper meal in Japan usually ends with fruit, and visitors to Japan are usually amazed by the quality of fruit available in supermarkets. Despite containing a lot of sugar, fruit has a paradoxical relationship with weight, and high levels of fruit consumption are linked with low levels of obesity. This couplet expresses one of the main ideas about Japanese eating, which is more commonly expressed as hara hachibun mei, or stop eating when your stomach is 8/10 full. A typical Japanese meal consists of several small dishes. There is some scientific evidence that chewing more is correlated with lower rates of obesity, while spending more time over meals is actually correlated with longevity. Unlike people in the West, the Japanese much prefer baths to showers. And the Japanese character for bathing in this couplet can also refer to bathing in a sauna or even sunbathing. Several studies have shown the benefits of cycling between hot and cold temperatures. And vitamin D, produced by exposure to sunlight, has been shown to have a protective effect against respiratory viruses such as coronavirus. Any exercise is good. Walking is the easiest to do on a daily basis, and because it's pleasant, you're likely to continue it for a long time. The Japanese practice of forest bathing, or shinrin yoku, is a great way to escape the stress of modern life and computer screens. Along with a healthy diet and exercise, sleep is one of the most important aspects of a healthy lifestyle, and it's essential for maintaining a strong immune system. There's a lot of anger and debate out there today, particularly online, and one of the best antidotes to that is hanging out with friends and having a good belly laugh. During this time of COVID, it often feels that life is on hold, and many of us spend too much time in front of our computer screens, feeling paralyzed. Taking action, almost any action, is a sure way to improve your mood. This last principle is the most spiritual of the Jukkun and reflects Japan's deep Buddhist roots. Buddhism holds that the cause of suffering is craving, and the way to eliminate suffering is to eliminate craving. The Jukkun presents a very simple way to do that. Forget about yourself and do something for others. So there you have it, the 10 principles of the Japanese Kenko Jukkun. I've thought a lot about this list, and I think there are two principles that weren't included because at the time the Kenko Jukkun were written, they were considered such common knowledge that they didn't bear mentioning. But I think they're worth including because there's such fundamental aspects of Japanese ideas about health and wellness. If you visit a Japanese supermarket, you'll notice something strange. They have no shopping carts. Rather, they only have small hand baskets for your groceries. Most Japanese families shop for groceries every day, and they much prefer fresh food to processed food. The health benefits of eating fresh food are well known, and they're neatly encapsulated by Michael Pollan's phrase, eat real food. Researchers on longevity have found blue zones all around the world. These are places where people live much longer than average. While the people in these blue zones eat varied diets and have completely different lifestyles, they all have one thing in common. They all have tight and active social lives. The good thing about the Kenko Jukkun is that it's flexible. You can add one or two principles to your life and try them out and see how you feel. Maybe a walk, or a nightly bath, or just eating a few more vegetables. Try one or two and see how you go. Not only will you build your immunity, but you can emerge from this time feeling better, healthier, and happier.